Hello, this is Wildfire speaking. Now, to continue on, the Zodiac killer Robert Ivan Nichols killed most of his victims, and most of the people he killed were either in the Navy or in the Army or some kind of military, or they had family or girlfriends or boyfriends, people that they knew that were in the Army. Like I said in the last video, Johnny Swindle, make sure I get that right. Swindle was in the Navy. He was a radio man. Ray Davis was in the military. Or his brother was. The taxi cab driver from California area. And Joseph Roy Davis from Jacksonville, Florida, was the cab owner. He owned a cab company. And he was in the Navy or military before he became a cab driver, or owned a cab company. And he was murdered too. All of them, I believe, were murdered by the Zodiac killer, Robert Ivan Nichols. All of them were in the military of some sort. Sherry Joe Bates' brother was in the military. That's right, Sherry Joe Bates is the Zodiac killer's victim. Sherry Joe Bates is 13 letters long. She was believed to be murdered around between 9 and 10:30 or 12 sometime. The witnesses who heard a scream and a muffled scream said it was around 9:15. So I believe the attack happened around 9:12. I cannot prove that, but 9:15 and 9:12, it takes a couple minutes for him to attack her and cover up and like whatever else. I just have a gut feeling 9/12 is when the Zodiac Robert Ivan Nichols was born on the 9th month, 12th day of the 9th month. I could be wrong, and they believe that she was murdered between 9 and 12. I believe that Robert Ivan Nichols was had it in his fantasy or whatever that he was gonna kidnap her and then kill her and do some other stuff to her. But she fought back, and that's why the murder was so vicious, because she screwed up his fantasy. He didn't want it to happen that way, but it all went haywire. So he had to kill her in his mind. And I believe that the watch that he left at Sherry Joe Bates is probably the one he stole from Johnny Swindle, who is missing a watch. So far, I haven't found any proof of that, but I just got a gut feeling. Robert Ivan Nichols was found, or they believe his body was found beyond recognition He had turned off all the air conditioners in the apartment and supposedly shot himself in the head or in the mouth. His body was so decomposed that they couldn't make an ID. The only the way that they could ID him was through medical records that happened years or months prior to his death, when he had some surgery done. So as far as we know, that body may not be his. I believe it is, but it may not be. Knowing him, he's good at changing his name and going into hiding. He could have killed somebody else and put their body there. A theory I have is that he found somebody that was poor, that was sick, and offered them to use his medical ID or his birth certificate to get some medical treatment. So the doctors assumed that the person that had cancer was the Robert Ivan Nichols, when very well it could have been some other guy. And Robert could have killed him or made him commit suicide and say, hey, I'll give you your money to your family if you help me out or something. Or maybe he drugged them, who knows. But the body was so decomposed, do we really know that was Robert Ivan Nichols? I would just love to know if the doctor who said he had cancer or diagnosed him with cancer knows that it was really Robert Ivan Nichols and has his DNA or the DNA from other surgeries. Can we prove 100% that body that was decomposed in his apartment was really him? There were a few other murders and kidnappings after he was 2002 that kind of resembles his MO. But we'll never know. We may never know. Robert Ivan Nichols was born and raised in New Albany, Indiana. And in New Albany, Indiana is surrounded by rivers. And there's a lot of I think there's a few lakes nearby too. And he was in the Navy, and that's why most of the murders happen near bodies of water. Because he was born in New Albany, Indiana, and New Albany, Indiana has a lot of lakes or a lot of rivers, bodies of water around it, and is near bodies of water. And he was in the Navy, and he worked on a Navy ship or carrier that was surrounded by water.